You, Ben, as a person who is from the UK, worked in the UK, worked in a business in the UK, is starting a business now in the UAE. Culturally, where do you credit the Emiratis as having these cultural strengths that actually make the UAE a strong place for business, commerce, investment? What is unique to the Emirati people?
Ooh, you are not giving me easy questions today.
Not supposed to be,
Um, I
but I know you'll give a good answer.
mean, I feel like I'm answering every question the same, but because they have fostered such a culture of business and commerce and pushing things forward and being innovative and at the forefront of things, it really does reflect in the business. Like I said, I knew I was a driven person, but I was probably quite internally that way. Whereas getting here and seeing everyone else being like, right, I'm going to help you, I'm going to push you forward, and it's the Emiratis, but then it passes on to the British expats, it passes on to everybody else here. So it's everybody I kind of communicate and come into contact with. It feels like they have that same drive, and like I say, it's rare to find elsewhere that everybody is that way.
It's
So
infectious.
yeah, it really is, because it's, and again, it's like we were just saying about, the sheikhs and all of this sort of stuff. Like, if the country succeeds, they succeed. In business, it feels like everyone's like, if you succeed, I'm going to succeed. Because if you
Yeah,
get a big job, you might get me in. But, I'm not trying to directly sell to you. I'm just trying to foster that relationship so that I'm front of mind when that opportunity comes up. So again, I think that has all come from the top down. I think that's genuinely just been the attitude of the country for the last 50 years, that is now, going to help propel this country for the next 50 years. Is that attitude everyone has taken up to this point is then been passed on to everyone else to take it to the next level that, like we said, people might not even be here to see, but they know they've left that legacy of, this is what we're striving towards.
I completely agree. I think it's a matter of basically in certain countries where business is controlled, you'd have to be a very motivated individual to overcome all that. But where in places like the UAE, where business is kind of like let free to do whatever it wants or whatever is necessary for its growth, that's more of like a very motivated community instead of an individual.
Yeah.
So I guess overall we see like it's stronger. We see the market being stronger here in the UAE.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So having said all that about the UAE, Ben, from your personal point of view, where do you see the UAE in 5 years?
5 years. I mean, whenever anyone mentions 5 years now, I always think of Expo, because I'm like, there was that photo, right, of Expo Land, where there was nothing, and then there was what is essentially an entire little mini city built in 5 years. So, and I probably no one would have predicted that could have got to that level. So I think they're just going to continue to push and to innovate, and it's hard to know where the world's going to go. I think in some aspects, COVID slowed things down, but then in a lot of aspects, COVID really fast tracked a lot. I mean, in our space, we saw a lot of businesses go digital that would have probably put it off for another 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
Had to, right? Consumers weren't out and about, so they had to go digital. And I think, again, just I feel like Dubai is just going to be at the forefront of that. So whether it's the metaverse, whether it's NFTs, whether it's, the whole Web 3.0 kind of area of crypto and all this sort of thing, I just feel like they are just going to really be at the forefront and push that. So I think this will be the place that people look to go, what is the next big thing? Dubai's doing it. The UAE is doing it. This is what's going to roll out across the world. And I feel like, it's going to be, and I don't mean this in a negative way by any means, but like a bit of a testing ground for people, because it's so set up to handle that, right? Like cryptocurrency payments. Yes, it's happening around the world, but not in mass numbers and not in a big scale. But I feel like, Dubai will probably be one of the first, if not the first, to really adopt that and really push that forward, whether it be in, compulsory in some aspects, or whether it's, just opening up. So it's, again, the barrier to entry is removed and more people can accept crypto payments. Once a city, on the scale of Dubai starts operating in that way, London's going to be quick to follow. Shanghai's going to be quick to follow. Singapore's like, everybody is going to see what we're doing here. And I feel like doesn't really answer, but in like 5 years, I just feel like it's just going to continue to push and develop. And doesn't sound like that long, but I feel like in a Dubai world, that's a long time. And Dubai will have so much innovation in that short period.
Dude, Dubai can do a whole lot with 5 years, way more when compared to other countries.
Yeah, again, that red tape, the legislation, but also just the drive of wanting to push it forward. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be an incredible place, and I just hope I'm still here to see it all in the next few years.